conversation. Sunday morning, inspiration. Sunday morning, conversation. Sunday morning, inspiration. Conversation, inspiration. Get the tools to live a life filled with purpose. Revelation, motivating conversations. This is the place to build your faith, live on purpose. Conversation, inspiration. Get the tools to live a life filled with purpose. Sunday morning, come and join the conversation. Leave the pain, gain the purpose God has for you. Join the conversation. Believe God has what's best for you. Join the conversation. Believe God has what's best for you. Join the conversation.
Well, good morning, conversation community. Good morning to you. It is yet another glorious Sunday morning in the year 2023. And yes, we are in the month of September, our second Sunday. We are excited about what God is doing in our lives as we move forward. And we've been talking about I've Got Next. And that is just an encouragement, a declaration to remind yourself as well as others that you're ready to receive what God has for you. And when we say I've got next, that means I put in what I needed to do to be prepared to receive it, for God to pour out of his spirit upon all flesh, that his sons and daughters may prophesy, and that we will be able to go forward and do the things that God has called for us to do. As you already know, we give a shout out to Bishop Maynard, Dr. Mary T, Pastor Jerry, for their love and their support, and the conversation community for continually jumping in here every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on Central Standard Time. And some of you all come back and catch the replay. So we thank you for that as well, because the numbers continue to go up. Now, I'm not into the number game, as you all already know. I tell you that. But it's good to know that the word of God is going out to people everywhere. And so when you come back with, the high fives and the thumbs up, and you let me know in my DM that I'm doing all right, or thank you, and you're sending me prayer requests, then that lets me know that you're connecting and that God's word is doing what it's supposed to do. It's going out and not returning back to him void. With that being said, we're going to continue on with I've Got Next. And today we're going to be talking about when God blesses, let your character remain. When God blesses, you got to let your character remain. So many times when and you've heard this, you can get invited to the room, but it's your character has to keep you in the room. And a lot of times we do get into places where God has opened up the doors for us. But yet when we get to that place, it seems like we get a little slippery. We forget that God is the one who did it. The psalmist says, bless the Lord, oh my soul, and forget not all of his benefits. And so that lets you know that sometimes we can forget. Sometimes we don't remind ourselves that if it had not been for the Lord who got us here, we wouldn't be here today. And so we have to make sure that our character backs up the places that God has given to us. So before we get started, let's get these shout outs out here, because y'all are in the room. What's up, Evangelist Elsie White? Hey, Deborah Derrickson, good morning. Hey, Sheila, what's going on? Vera Cranford, hello to you. Hey, Dr. Perry, how are you doing? Hey, Jackie Head is in the room. All right. Hey, Diane Thomas, listen, I'm going to be in Indianapolis next week, and I know the flyer's been popping out there, but if you're in the Indianapolis area, and I'll say it at the end, join me Join me at the church. It's on the flyer, the ambassadors. Please make sure that you join me there. The information is there on the flyers. We'll make sure that you continue to circulate that. But it's with my good friend Diane Thomas and her family and church family. So we're so excited to be there. So good morning, good morning, good morning to you all. I know others are there, so pop in there if you would like to. But listen, just remind yourself that I've got next. I've got next. God bless us and let my character remain. We're going to go to Genesis, the 48th chapter, 3rd through the 5th verse, in the Amplified Bible, the Amplified version of this. And so that's Genesis 48 chapter 3 through 5. And this is very important. I want to say this to you, and I want you to hear me when I talk to you about this, because it's not just that I've got next. Sometimes we receive things early, or we receive things by default. And so that's not what I'm speaking about today. So I want to make sure that it's very clear about this. For those who are watching and listening to this, sometimes we receive things. And what do you mean by that? Sometimes it's just we inherit it because of our position, especially in the Jewish tradition. And there's some other cultures that when the firstborn always gets, the first choice. The firstborn always gets the first choice. I want you to hear that. We talk about this with when we talk about Isaac, and it was automatically default was to go to Esau. But because the mother had done some things, Jacob ended up getting the birthright. Okay. So something in tradition and cultures that because you're in a certain position, you automatically get it. But God wants us to understand something. That is not just about the natural position or the cultural position, but he wants us to be in the righteous position. Hear me when I say that. The righteous position. That doesn't mean that you've dotted every I and crossed every T. That means that you're in the right place that God has predestined for you to be so that you can receive all that he has for you. So check this out. This is a story that is written or an account where Jacob, remember Abraham, Isaac, Jacob's son, Jacob, and he's getting ready to bless his sons. Here, listen to this, because this is so key to some of you that's out there right now. God is about to pour some things on you, and your mind is telling you, I shouldn't be receiving this. This is supposed to go to this person, and this is supposed to go to that person because they're the ones that they're the heir apparent, or they're the person that should have it. But God is saying to you right now, no, my order is not man's order. My order is the order. Hear me when I say that. My order, this is God saying this. My order is not man's order. My order is my order. It is God's order. And God's order is not subjected to man's order. So you may be in line, even though you naturally are not supposed to be there. Culturally, you're not supposed to be there. Gender-wise, you're not supposed to be there. But God says, I placed you there to receive just what I have for you. So listen to this. Okay, so Jacob's about to bless his son. And he rises early and he says, gather my sons. But he does something unique here. And this is just for you. So then Jacob said to Joseph, God Almighty appeared to me at Luz, or at Bethel, in the land of Canaan, and he blessed me. That's the first thing. The person who has it to bless. All right. Okay. So the next scripture, 4, and said to me, behold, I will make you fruitful and numerous. I needed you to hear this. This is what's coming down the pipeline. And I will make you a great company of people and give this land to your descendants after you as an everlasting possession. All right. Verse 5. Now your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, understand this, who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt, are mine. I'm going to break that down. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine, that is adopted as my heirs, and sons as surely as Reuben and Simon are my sons. So listen to this. Okay, this is symbolic of where we are right now for those who have met the criteria. I want to say this again. This is symbolic for those who have met the criteria. All right, we're talking about what took place back then, but who's met the criteria? Jacob calls his sons, all of his sons together. And he says unto them, he calls his son. So he calls Joseph, who at the time was living in Egypt. If you remember, he had been thrown into the prison and then was elevated, was called out of the prison by God's handiwork, elevated, set in key position, was already being blessed. And so then Jacob comes to him. He says, Joseph, I want to talk to you specifically. I want to talk to you about this. I've lined up all of my sons. All right. And I also want you to go get your sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, because God has surely blessed me. God has surely been with me. And I'm about to pass this on to you. This is what God says. I'm getting ready to release the blessings unto you. I'm talking to you today. I'm going to release the blessings unto you. And you're saying, well, I know that's going to go to the pastors. I know it's going to go to the bishops. I know it's going to go to these people. I know it's going to go to the business owners. I know it's going to go to, and you have your categories. And God said, no. I want to bring those who are in the second string. Who am I talking to? I want to bring those to the delegated folks. I want to bring the second string folks, the people that think that they're standing behind, they're in second place. I want to bring the ones who think they're the second generation, the ones who are waiting. But listen to this, when we'll talk about the waiting part, that are waiting to be blessed, that are waiting in line. I always default back to when we go over to London and to the UK, and we talk about, how Queen Elizabeth, she passed and it automatically went to Charles because he was the heir apparent. And it didn't matter what his character was. It didn't matter how his lifestyle was. He had married Camille. And there was so much, rumbling around that years ago when he was married to Diane, and then automatically goes to William, and so you got Harry, who's over on the sideline, who realizes that he'll never probably see the throne, and so his mind is off somewhere else doing other things. And that's just how some of us are. We don't think it will ever get to us. And that's who I want to talk to today. The one who thinks that the true blessing, the big promises will never get to me. I want to talk to you today because God says, let me just tell you something. I'm about to bring you in line with everybody else that you think is in front of you, that you think that's above you. I'm about to position you to receive all that I had for you. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get ready to get this here because I want to make sure that you understand this so that you can continue to forge forward, because you've already been doing the work. And God says, I see the work that you've already been doing. I just need to remind you that you've been doing the work. So, hey, Betty Patrick, hey, Evangelist Erica, Marietta's in the house. Brenda Page has made it. Hey, Mary Ray, what's going on? So listen to this. Here we are. Let me tell you why Jacob wanted to make sure that Manasseh and Ephraim was at the front of the line, okay? And he's putting you, oh my God, today I feel this, that you're at the front of the line. Let me tell you why this is so important. Because Ephraim and Manasseh were living in Egypt. It says it right there. They were born in Egypt. They were born in Egypt. I believe it's right here. Who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt. Which means by the time that Jacob came, by the time he got there, they were of age to where they could have been influenced by the Egypt or the Egyptian religions. Remember, they were polytheism there. They believed in multiple gods. They could have served multiple gods. But what Jacob saw, listen to this, what Jacob saw were his descendants who were able to serve the one and true and living God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And what Jacob had instilled in Joseph, Joseph was able to stay fast and to stay firm, and not only just for his sake, but to teach his children in the midst of unrighteousness. He was able to teach them righteousness. In the midst of unholiness, he was able to teach them holiness. Understand this. And I want to put this at the Ephraim and Manasseh, it shall be mine. And they're going to adopt this as Reuben and Simon are my sons. And then let me just put this at, you have to have the strength to be able to withstand the pressures of society and do the right thing. And some of you are on your jobs. This is what the Lord is saying to you today. Some of you are on your jobs and you know that there's wrongdoing going on, but you've been committed to do it God's way. And you said, in spite of, it's easier to follow the pack. But you've decided to do it God's way. You're not going to shortchange the company. You're not going to be a part of the ones who's creating chaos in the company culture. But you're one who is holding fast to the truths of God. Some of you are in ministries where there's a lot of cliques going on, and there's a lot of back and forth going on. And I would like to even say, the Lord is saying even right now, there's some of you that's in ministries that there's a quote unquote civil war going on. There's one group here and one group there that are fighting amongst each other, but you've decided, you made up in your mind that you're going to take the straight and the narrow, that you're not going to get caught up in the okie doke. You're not going to get caught up in the midst of this. And you decided to hold fast to your character. There's some of you that have been placed on boards, that have been placed in key positions in municipalities and key positions in religious organizations. It's a key position in community organizations. And instead of you falling out, instead of you following the crowd, instead of you being a part of, you made a decision to break away and to say, you know what, I'm going to hold steadfast. I'm going to make sure that my character reflects the character of Christ. Listen to this. You've got to be in it when God is blessing you, when God has blessed you, when God has opened up the doors for you. He puts you in those positions, but your character must remain. Your character must remain. I'm putting this up here. Raised in Egypt, but remain moral and ethical. And that's what we have to understand. We are living in the last days, the very last days, where corruption, where just anything goes, where people are, and the Bible told us that people are calling good evil, the evil good. We're living in those days, but God is requiring his people. God is requiring those he is blessing for us to stand strong and to remain. And when we stand fast, when we decide to make up our mind that we are going to do just what God has called for us to do, let me just tell you something. The big blessings is on the way. Somebody ought to shout in that chat. I see some of you already done it. Put in that chat, big blessings are on the way. No longer are you going to be behind. I see you out there. I see you in the spirit. I see you out there in the spirit that you have been the person that has been denied. You have said that God's told you, I'm about to bless you. And you said, well, now, Lord, I don't know about this. I don't know if this is where you really want me to go. I don't know if you really want me to be the one. It seems like I may not be qualified. And God's saying, no, I'm about to put you in the Ephraim and Manasseh's position. I'm pulling you from the back. I'm pulling you from the second string. I'm pulling you from being the assistant. I'm pulling you from being the subcontractor, being the primary contract. I'm pulling you from being that person that gets the overflow. And I'm putting you in the position where you would get the first pour. Some of us have been getting the second pour. We've been getting the overflow. But God says, no, I'm going to pour directly into you. No longer are you going to be the person that's getting the leftovers. No longer are you going to be the person that's getting, what somebody else just didn't want. I'm going to make sure that you're not getting the second hand-me-downs and things like that, but you're getting ready to get just what God has. You are going to get the pure blessing. You're going to get the blessing that comes straight from God's mouth to your ears. No longer are you going to have to wait for somebody to come and speak to you, because some of you are always waiting for people to come and tell you and to confirm what God has to say. God says, no, I'm about to speak into your life, and it's going to be a surety that you will know that I am the Lord your God. I am the one who's been with you all of your life. I'm the one that's been speaking to you. I'm the one that's been opening up the doors for you and making ways. And God's about to open some doors for some of you as well, to put you in some key positions because you've been faithful. You've been true to what he said. And you've got to be in position to be ready and tell yourself, I've got next. I've got this. It's not because I'm so powerful. It's not because I'm the person that can do it. It's not because I'm so tough and because, I've been just so great, but it's because the great one that lives in me is greater than the ones that are outside of me. The great ones that's in me is what I hold to. I hold fast to his truths. I hold fast to his ways. I've kept my mouth shut. I haven't spoken ill about people. I could have shared some things, but I decided to bridle my tongue. I could have responded, but I held back and said, the Lord's going to fight my battles. I could have been the one that went off on the deep end, but I reminded myself that he's my peace and he's my strength. You've been that person that stayed on the wall. You've been that person that turned the other cheek because you could have fought back, but you turned the other cheek. And God says, I'm about to bless you because you've been faithful in a few things, and I'm getting ready to make you ruler in so many great things. I know I'm talking to you out there today because I'm talking to myself right now. I've got next. God blesses, and my character shall remain. My God. Elder Van Treese has jumped up in there, and I tell you, I see some hallelujahs out there and some yes lords there. Amen. Hey, Jackie Head said God's big blessings are on the way because of who you are, so don't change up on them. Hey, I like that, Elder Van Treese. Don't change up on him, because the way you are is why God put you in the spotlight. I like that, Elder Van Treese. Don't change up on him. Listen, I need to put that out there. Don't change up on God. Don't change on him. And I tell you what, I'm telling you so many times, the reason why we don't hold on to the blessings is because we mishandle it. We get in places when God blesses us that we say, okay, I'm good. No, you're not good. You got to continue to do the things that you did to get there. We fall out. When I say fall out, I'm talking about fall out of his presence. We fall out of that lineup, and God is still pouring. But you have you ever and I've done this before, where I may be pouring some water into a glass or to a container, and then my eyes may shift to something else, and all of a sudden, when my eyes shifted, my hand shifted. So no longer is the water pouring directly into, and I'm using this as a cup, but directly right here into the middle of it, but I've shifted. And so I'm just getting a little bit of water. The water's still coming, but I'm only getting a little bit of the water. And some of us have done that. Our eyes have got off focus. Our eyes have shifted. We've seen something else that may have caught our attention, that have distracted us. Who am I speaking to right now? Don't let the distractions lessen your blessing. Woo! Don't let the distractions lessen your blessing, because when you turn your eyes just for a split second away from God, you will step back, you will move your container, and you'll be getting half or 1/4 or 1/8 of what God was going to give to you. You need to center your focus to allow for the blessings to come straight into the middle, because that way, even if it gets a little wider, it still will get inside of the cup. Even if it gets a little wider, it'll still get inside of the container. But when you shift and God begins to really open up that spout, sometimes you have spillage. But you tell the Lord, Lord, I want all that you have for me. I've got next, and I need to have all that you have for me. I don't want the spillage to go out. I don't need anything else to go somewhere else. I need for it to go directly into me. Lord, pour out your spirit into me. My God, today I'm feeling this. Woo! Woo, Lord, I'm feeling this. Listen, we've got to be ready for the blessing. So as I was stating to you, and I'm saying this again, you had Manasseh, you had Ephraim, and Jacob. Jacob comes to Joseph and he says, listen, just as my sons Reuben and Simeon, we say Simon, but it's really Simeon. So just as Reuben and Simeon were pulled in to receive, Jacob said, I want to line up Ephraim and Manasseh. Now listen to this. You have to understand something. That when God says this, let me tell you what this looks like. When the plots of land were divided out, or they were divvied out, Manasseh and Ephraim received the same quality that Reuben and Simeon received. Hear me when I say this. They received the same quality of land that Reuben and Simeon received. They received a flag. Each tribe had their own flag to identify who they are and their descendants. So they received the same flag. They received a different flag, their own flag. They didn't get Joseph's flag modified. I need you to hear that. They didn't receive a portion of Joseph's land, their father. They didn't receive a parcel. They didn't receive a carving out of his land. They received their own land and territory. They received their own flag or marking that put them at the same level that everyone else was placed at. So they were no longer considered grandchildren, but now they're considered children. Jacob said, I see them as my two sons. I placed them in a different place. I pushed them forward. Now, hear me when I say this to you. Don't step back. Who am I talking to right now? Don't step back. So many times we get in these positions and God opens up doors for us and we're standing there, and then all of a sudden we're stepping back. All of a sudden we find ourselves backing up. We back up. We say, oh my gosh, Lord, I know you're pouring out blessings. I know what you said, Lord. I know this, that you want me to do well. I know that you want me to benefit and to prosper, but I'm stepping back. I'm stepping back. I'm stepping back. No, you need to make sure you hold the line. Come on, Elder Van Treese, help me on this one. Hold the line. Everybody, listen to this. Hold the line. I see you, Stephen Taylor, out there. Hey, Pastor Kelly. Hey, man. Hey, Barbara Watson. Oh, my gosh, Alonzo is in there. Hey, hold the line. Sometimes it gets tough. Sometimes it gets challenging. Sometimes we get weary, but hold the line. Stay in your position. Don't allow for life's challenges. Don't allow for the enemy. Don't allow for discouragement, doubt, fear, and disbelief in order to make you step back. But you need to hold the line. Hold to your faith, because the Bible tells us that my faith shall fail me not. Hold this line. Hold your line so that you can still receive what God has for you. Because listen to this. Not only did Ephraim and Manasseh receive just what God wanted for them through Jacob, but their descendants got a chance to receive at the same level. So listen to this. I want you to really check this out. It really was a promotion. See, sometimes we think even when God pushes us up there, puts us in line with people. See, they weren't supposed to receive this right then. Not according to man's laws, not according to man's rules, not according to culture. But when God pushed them up, he actually gave them a promotion. Years ago, they used to, if you could score high on in academics or in school, that they would like you to get that double promotion. My mother was double promoted. She skipped a grade. Basically, that's what they used to call it. You skip a grade. They may still do it. I don't know. You can test out of a grade, and you, like some children are in second grade doing fourth grade math because they just qualify. So my mom was one of those things, and that's what I'm saying to you. Some of y'all about to skip. Oh, skip that grade. You about to skip into a new blessing. You about to skip into a new assignment. You about to skip into a new position. I'm feeling this thing because I know the Lord is talking to me too. You're about to skip ahead. You're about to skip ahead. Not that you're going above everybody else, not for you to be haughty or anything like that, but for you to understand that you've been holding the line. And because you've been there, you've been faithful. You've been pressing in. You've been staying the course. You've been keeping your heart turned towards God. You've been listening to him and relying on him and believing in him. God says, I'm about to skip you forward. You're about to skip. Somebody get in the skipping position because you're about to skip to the next. And you don't have to go through the trouble and the struggles. Think about what Reuben and Simeon and his brothers had to do when they came down into Egypt. It was a lot. They had to experience the famine. Hear me when I say this. They experienced the famine in the land. They experienced the trials. They experienced the trouble. They had to go into another land and remain humble so that they could occupy the space. But not Ephraim and Manasseh. They were born in Egypt where there was a plenty. They were a part of the release when Joseph was working with Pharaoh. They were a part of it. And so they got a chance to see it all. They got to see it. They experienced it and they were exposed to it. But yet they held their faith. Their character kept them there. Listen to this. You need to get into character. godly character, and watch God skip you to the front. Watch him skip you past all of those different those difficulties and those gaps, and he's going to skip you right to the front. Listen, we are excited about what God is doing. I want to tee this up. Coming October the 1st at 7 p.m., Pastor Brianna Mitchell and the Mount Gilead Church is going to join us at Cathedral Praise Nashville for the 30th pastoral anniversary at 7 p.m. that Sunday night. We are kicking off the 30th pastoral anniversary of Bishop Maynard and Dr. Mary T. We are excited. We need you to come out. We're calling the community out. If you live in this area, the Nashville area, Metro Nashville area, come out and be with us. Pastors and churches from around are going to come and celebrate with us on that Sunday night, and that is on October the 1st at 7 p.m. And then check this out. On October the 4th, we're calling all of Cathedral of Praise, Pentecostal Tabernacle, Fluff, whatever you were when you came to that church, we're calling on you to come back and join us at Cathedral of Praise. That's on a Wednesday night. Put your jeans on, put your work clothes on, put your Cathedral of Praise shirt on. If you have a Pentecostal Tabernacle shirt, whatever you want to do, come dress. Our family is coming back. We got Pastor Ella Clay, Pastor Jimmy Smith, Pastor Michael Cross. We have Pastor Quentin Pittman. They're all coming back and joining us on Wednesday. We'll have dinner at 5 p.m. and then we'll go into the sanctuary for prayer and then service at 7 p.m. That's on that Wednesday, October the 4th. It's our family reunion as we celebrate Bishop and Dr. Mary T. And then on October the 8th is the finale. Oh my goodness, you want to be in the place. Starting off, come on, TSU alumni, at 7:45, Dr. Glenda Glover, who is the president of Tennessee State University. She will be with us at 7:45. And we're asking for the TSU alum to come and join in, and Cathedral of Praise. We got a lot of alum at our church. So come and join in. Their ELT members are going to be there as well. At 10 a.m., the powerful, prolific speaker, the Bishop Frank Anthony White, will be with us at 10 a.m., considered to be one of the spiritual sons of Bishop Maynard. So he'll be with us at 10 a.m. And then at 7 p.m. on October the 8th, the finale, our own presiding bishop, Bishop J. Drew Shear, will be with us at 7 p.m. Come out, come out, come out. Drive up. Come on, Memphis. You need to be in the house. All those who's around, come and join us. And then I just want to share with you, of course, hang out with us because it's 1 hour of power, 7:45 a.m. The information is right there on the screen. And then at 10 a.m., that's at our Nashville location. You don't want to miss it. And then as well, join us again here at our Memphis location. Address is on the screen there for you at our 10 a.m. service. If you can't make it in person, catch us on our platforms and you know where we are. Thank you all so much. On next week, the recipient of the scholarship will be with us next week. She's going to join us so that you can say thank you to you all for giving. If you still want to give, you can do so. We've raised $1,500 so far. We may up it just a little bit by the time we get there on next week. So if you want to still give, any amount is just fine. And we appreciate you. And then those that gave to the Western Kentucky University Endowment, Savon Williams Endowment, thank you too, because some of you went straight to Western Kentucky. And I appreciate you so very much for just loving me, loving my family, and remembering my son and the work that he did in this earth. Thank you all and be blessed. Listen, as you all already know, that your voice is valuable and your voice is powerful. Go out and speak life into everything that you're doing. Have a great day. Bye-bye.